idea what the actual motivation is for that fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
I'm going to break his face. I'm going to break his body up. I'm going to stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality. And I know what's in my heart. I know what's in my mind. And I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting, no matter who it is.
Jake Paul is stepping into danger, real danger. And Joe Rogan is the first major name in combat sports to finally say it out loud. According to Rogan, Jake Paul has absolutely no business fighting Anthony Joshua. Not now, not ever. Rogan didn't hold back. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He demanded Jake cancel the fight before things go horribly wrong, because this has officially crossed the line from promotion to serious physical risk. When Rogan saw the announcement, an official heavyweight matchup, 8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear, his reaction was immediate. This is dangerous. Joshua hits like a freight train. Jake shouldn't take those punches. Rogan has called thousands of fights, seen careers made and careers destroyed in a single strike. But this time his reaction wasn't excitement. It was a warning, a red flag, a message Jake Paul can't afford to ignore.
Jake Paul has lost his mind. This is probably the worst mistake of his career. Even in the poster, you can see this is a David and Goliath story here. I mean, there's times where I thought Jake is a cruiserweight. There's times where I thought even he could be a light heavyweight. And now he's stepping in with one of the most chiseled, bona fide heavyweights in the world right now in Anthony Joshua. I'm about to break the internet over Jake Paul's face. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but it sounds fucking demented, terrifying. And speaking of the insanity of this thing, here is what the first line is. Jake as a plus 800. I have a feeling that's going to shift even more toward AJ. AJ's the 18-wheeler going 90 down the straightaway, and Jake is in a golf cart going 10 miles an hour, headed right back at the 18-wheeler. It's going to be freaking destruction. Look at the reach. He's got a 6-inch reach on Jake. And trust me, the Chloe concept has told me the 6 inches is more than enough. Okay?
Anthony Joshua has put elite fighters to sleep with a single punch. World-class athletes, not YouTubers, not influencers. And now Jake Paul, who is realistically a cruiserweight, is preparing to step into the ring with a man who came in at nearly 250 pounds in his last fight and knocked out Francis Ngannou with terrifying ease. Rogan didn't sugarcoat it for a second dot in his words. There is no version of reality where this matchup is safe. Think about it. Jake Paul stands 6'1" and usually walks around somewhere between 200 and 210 pounds. His resume is built mostly on MMA veterans, retired champions, older fighters, and men who were naturally smaller than him. But Anthony Joshua? This is a completely different world. A dangerously different world.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on, like you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
Anthony Joshua stands at 6'6", towering over Jake with a huge edge in height, reach, and raw knockout force, the kind that has flattened true heavyweight contenders. Even if this fight forces Joshua to come in under a 245-pound limit, the gap between the two men is still enormous. This isn't just a size difference. It's a different species of fighter.
So we've got Anthony Joshua, AJ, you get me? What a legend. And we've got Jake Paul, and he's a legend as well. Now, AJ is facing a lot of backlash because he's fighting Jake Paul. Ache, understand, man. It's like football, you get me? You play for Barcelona. When you get older, you start going down a bit, and then everything is about money. Yes? Run it up. Now, everyone wants to see the Tyson Fury against AJ fight. We've been seeing it, but we've seen Alexander Usyk. He's been doing our guys wrong. He's been just winning. He's been in the way. So my take on this is it's dangerous for Jake Paul. Get me? A lot of people, Eddie Hearn, Dana White. I just done a full YouTube anyway. Just watch the full YouTube because, you know, there's a lot of people that's reacted to it. You get me? So full YouTube out now.
This isn't Jake taking a small step up in weight. This is Jake crossing into a completely different class of fighter, a level he has never faced before.
First of all, kudos to Jake Paul. The cojones this motherfucker has, from a Disney kid to YouTube to he can fight anyone and get views and make fucking money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony motherfucking Joshua. You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. I will say this though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him.
Medical professionals are already questioning how this matchup even received approval. Several voices in the sport, including David Haye and Ariel Helwani, have openly warned that this fight crosses the line into unnecessary danger. And Joe Rogan didn't back down either. He made it clear, size matters, weight matters. Power matters. Anthony Joshua isn't just a heavyweight, he's a former world champion whose punches are built to shut down men the size of tanks. Jake Paul may hit hard for a cruiserweight, but that kind of power means nothing when you're standing in front of someone trained to demolish 250-pound monsters. Rogan even referenced one of boxing's most chilling moments in recent memory, the night Anthony Joshua knocked out Francis Ngannou. The entire arena froze. Ngannou lay completely still. Doctors sprinted into the ring. The crowd went dead silent. It was a brutal reminder of how unforgiving boxing truly is. Ngannou, a man who walks around near 270 pounds, was dropped as if lightning had struck him, and Jake Paul is willingly stepping into the same storm.
He was quite special because he stopped me. He did what Tyson Fury couldn't done, you know. And you know, he wasn't my day, and he's just way better than me today.
So Rogan posed the question everyone's afraid to answer. If Francis Ngannou, a 270-pound powerhouse, got shut off instantly, what happens to Jake Paul? But here's where things get even crazier. Jake Paul actually believes he can pull this off. After headlining the biggest boxing broadcast in Netflix history, he's riding a wave of confidence that feels unstoppable. The payday is massive, the spotlight is irresistible, and Jake has built his entire identity around doing what people say he can't. It's the same formula he's used for years. Shock the world, break the rules, and silence the critics. But Anthony Joshua isn't Ben Askren, he isn't Nate Diaz, he isn't Tyron Woodley, and he sure as hell isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This time, Jake isn't chasing an upset. He's flirting with disaster.
He has people around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out. Would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikita, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no? How can you say no? What am I missing?
This isn't an exhibition against a faded legend. This is a prime, 2-time heavyweight champion who's still active, still dangerous, and stepping in with a point to prove. Rogan's take was blunt. Jake Paul has let the spotlight, the cheers, and the hype drown out the reality of the threat standing in front of him.
I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing and changing the plans. And it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year. And this is going to be fun. I want him to cut me up. I want him to break my face. But guess what? He's going to have to kill me to stop me. And I'm ready to die. Seriously ready to die in the ring to win this fight.
Seriously ready to die. Seriously ready to die.
We're all born to die, baby.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Rogan's most explosive claim was aimed directly at the commission itself. He suggested they reevaluate the matchup, repeating the word safety over and over, and he wasn't exaggerating. Normally, boxing commissions refuse to sanction fights where the gap in size, weight, and experience is this extreme. But Jake Paul isn't treated like a typical fighter. He's a global attraction, and when big money enters the room, the usual rules suddenly disappear. Rogan highlighted the uncomfortable truth. If any other boxer had Jake's short resume, this matchup would have been shut down immediately, because stepping into the ring with a true heavyweight pushes the sport into dangerous territory, that thin border where entertainment ends, and real physical risk begins.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Not long ago, Jake was fighting Gervonta Davis, a lightweight, a man nearly 100 pounds smaller.
Yeah, he just represents everything that's wrong with boxing, unprofessionalism, and he's getting what he's reaping what he sows. But I hate working with people like that. He stands everyone up, film proves everything, doesn't do any promotion, doesn't do any posts, but it is what it is. And I'm actually glad this all happened this way so that he doesn't get...
Not long ago, Jake Paul was in the ring with Gervonta Davis, a lightweight nearly 100 pounds lighter than him.
I think Gervonta would have struggled in some aspects, but I think he would have got the victory.
Think Gervonta would have got the victory?
Yes, I do, because of his counter-punching ability. So I think he would have, how he done with Frank Martin, kept his tight guard, took some shots on the gloves, figured out his distance, and then counter-punched Jake to her.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
That bout was ultimately canceled due to Tank's legal troubles. With Davis off the table, Jake immediately began searching for a new opponent to step into the ring.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. He's multiple-time champion. Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And so a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even.
Jake didn't simply move up a weight class. He catapulted himself into an entirely different universe of fighters.
I don't blame Anthony for anything. I don't think that he's doing something wrong. I think that he's doing what he needs to do for himself, which is the proper thing to do, in my opinion. Now, as far as the fight, I think that maybe 6-7 rounds, maybe 5-6-7 rounds, Anthony will catch him with some shots and put him down, and I think the fight will be stopped. I don't think Jake presents a problem. I think that it's a low risk, high reward for Anthony.
Rogan called Jake's jump reckless. Having spent decades around boxing, he understands just how unforgiving the heavyweight division can be. In his view, Jake went from one extreme to the other far too quickly, from facing Tank Davis at 135 pounds straight to stepping in with Anthony Joshua at 245.
Do you regret the Joshua fight not happening?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything. Life's too short for regrets.
What do you think of Jake Paul calling him out?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight.
Here's what makes this matchup truly terrifying. Anthony Joshua is taking this fight deadly seriously. He isn't treating Jake Paul like a YouTuber. He isn't seeing this as some kind of spectacle. Joshua is preparing if he's facing a legitimate, world-class contender. And a knockout over Jake Paul isn't just another win. It brings millions of views, massive payday, and global attention, all perfectly timed before his ultimate goal, a colossal showdown with Tyson Fury.
Do you regret the Joshua fight not happening?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything. Life's too short for regrets.
What do you think of Jake Paul calling him out?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight.
Anthony Joshua is laser-focused and motivated, exactly the last thing Jake Paul needed going into this fight. The bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, 3 minutes each with 10-ounce gloves, giving Joshua plenty of time to capitalize on his size and power. Rogan warned that even a few rounds in a fight like this could be extremely dangerous for Jake. Once Rogan spoke out, doctors and analysts flooded social media with their own concerns. A ringside physician warned, Jake Paul is at real risk of a concussion from a single punch. This isn't hype or trash talk. This is medical reality, and that's exactly why Rogan sounded the alarm. But Jake Paul hasn't flinched. He doubled down. He shared training footage, reaffirmed that he's chasing greatness, and insisted he isn't afraid. Time and time again, he's taken skeptics and critics and proven them wrong, and now he's stepping into what may be his most dangerous challenge yet.
You know, don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know, but I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point, and he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Do you think it's competitive? A lot of people are saying if AJ doesn't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it'll be a huge embarrassment.
I don't think that's not the case, that he's gonna get Jake Paul. At the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training hard too, and you know, he's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he would take him out in 2-3 rounds. I think maybe in the later rounds, or it might go to decision, you know, but I don't think that Jake Paul can take AJ out. I mean, or AJ could take Jake Paul. Maybe, you know, but I don't know. It's just going to be an exciting fight. I think I want to see that fight, to be honest with you.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Rogan believes Jake Paul is blinded by the hype, completely overlooking the real danger in front of him. Jake has a history of fighting with emotion. When the world doubts him, he dives headfirst into the fire. But this time, the fire isn't just symbolic. This time, it hits with the full force of a world-class heavyweight, and the consequences could be severe.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
The fans are divided. Some are thrilled, treating the fight as pure spectacle. They believe Jake Paul might just have a puncher's chance against the towering heavyweight champion.
Jake Paul's talking about fighting Gervonta Davis, who's 135 pound. And then on the other hand, he's talking about fighting a 260 pound monster in Anthony Joshua. Listen, he's crazy enough to probably do it all if the money's right. But we're not really interested in waiting until 2016. And we're certainly not basing our career around a potential fight with Jake Paul. But if we were offered it, why not? I mean, it would be such an easy night's work and it would be massive. And Jake's smart. Look, I know that we have our back and forth. Jake's improving as a fighter, and you have to respect the fact that he's dedicated not just to the business, but also the hard graft of boxing. I still don't think he's particularly good, but he's a decent, some level fighter. But he's crazy. At first, I always felt that Jake was just using these people's names. I think he's got that many people around him that I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's got a chance against Anthony Joshua. You know, Jake, I watched him, Jake. You'll knock him out. Yeah. It's like, you know, but, you know, there's a difference between fighting Gervonta Davis, even Canelo Alvarez, and then fighting AJ. You know, the other two you can get just humiliated and schooled and beaten up a little bit. The other one you can be fully decapitated.
When Joe Rogan spoke, most fans admitted one thing. He's the only one seeing this matchup clearly. So, what if Jake Paul actually wins? Let's be fair, Jake has a history of shocking the world. He might catch Anthony Joshua off guard. He might survive the early rounds. He might even outbox him for points. It's not likely, but it is possible. Rogan acknowledged Jake's progress. His discipline, his power, his skill improvements are real. But even with all that, one single mistake could completely change the night. Now, imagine if Jake loses. This is where Rogan's warning becomes chilling. It won't be a simple loss. It won't be a close decision. It won't be just another fight. It could be a devastating heavyweight knockout. And in boxing, that kind of knockout can end a career, or, in the worst case scenario, have far more serious consequences.
What happens when I think we both know, but for the sake of saying it specifically, if the two of them do collide in the ring,
Josh and Jake,
yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
Joe Rogan's final warning was clear and powerful. Sometimes the bravest move is to step back. He didn't call Jake scared. He didn't say he was weak. He didn't criticize him. He simply said that Jake needs to protect himself, because one fight is not worth risking his health. And coming from someone like Joe Rogan, that message hits harder than any punch in the ring. Now the question is up to you, the fans. Should Jake go through with the fight? Or should he listen to Rogan and pull out before it's too late? Is this courage? Or is it danger disguised as entertainment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Fight Field for more real combat sports breakdowns. I'll see you in the next video.